Have you ever wondered what would happen if history took a sharp turn? If one single day changed the fate of an entire continent? Well, let's travel back to the late 17th century, to a city under siege, a city on the brink of collapse, Vienna. This isn't just a story about a battle. It's the story of a clash of empires, a desperate gamble, and a legendary cavalry charge that echoed through the ages. It's the summer of 1683. For too long, grueling months, the magnificent city of Vienna, the heart of the Holy Roman Empire, has been choked by an enormous Ottoman army. We're talking about over 150,000 soldiers led by the Grand Vizier Mustafa Pasha. He was ambitious, ruthless, and absolutely confident that Vienna would fall, just as Constantinople had over a century before. He envisioned the city's grand cathedrals converted into mosques, a stepping stone for the Ottoman Empire's conquest of Central Europe. Inside the city walls, the situation was beyond dire. The Viennese defenders, numbering less than 20,000, were exhausted, starving, and ravaged by disease. Their supplies were dwindling, their walls were crumbling under constant bombardment, and hope was a luxury they could barely afford. The Ottoman sappers, masters of siege warfare, were digging tunnels, known as mines, right under the city's fortifications. Every day, the Viennese could hear the faint, terrifying sound of digging beneath their feet, knowing that at any moment, a section of their wall could erupt in a fiery explosion, signaling the final, bloody assault. Their commander, Count von Starhemberg, was wounded but refused to surrender. He sent desperate pleas for help, launching rockets from St. Stephen's Cathedral as a signal to any relief force that might be out there. But as the days turned into weeks, it seemed no one was coming. Vienna was alone, and its time was running out. Meanwhile, a storm was gathering to the north. The desperate cries for help from the Pope and the Holy Roman Emperor, Leopold I, had been heard. A coalition was being formed, a holy league, but it was a fragile alliance, riddled with old rivalries. The German states were sending troops, but the real wild card, the person everyone was pinning their hopes on, was a man from the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, King Jan III Sobieski. Now, Sobieski was a fascinating character. He wasn't just a king, he was a warrior king, a veteran of countless battles against the Ottomans and Tatars. He understood their tactics better than almost anyone in Europe. He was in his 50s, a bit past his prime, but his reputation was legendary. They called him the Lion of Lechistan. When the plea for help reached him, he faced a difficult choice. His own kingdom had a treaty with the Ottomans, and marching to Vienna meant breaking it, inviting a devastating war on his own lands. His advisors urged caution, but Sobieski saw the bigger picture. He knew that if Vienna fell, Poland would be next. He declared, "It is not a city that we have to save, but the whole of Christendom." He honored his treaty with the Holy Roman Emperor and began the long march south. His army was a spectacle in itself. It included the legendary Polish winged Hussars. Just imagine it, heavily armored noblemen mounted on powerful war horses with massive, feathered wings attached to their backs. These weren't just for show. As they charged, the wings would make a terrifying, roaring sound designed to break the morale of enemy infantry. They were the ultimate shock cavalry of their time, a living, breathing anachronism in an age of muskets and cannons, but they were devastatingly effective. On September 11, 1683, the combined Christian Relief Army, about 70,000 strong, finally reached the Kahlenberg Heights overlooking Vienna. The view below was breathtaking and horrifying. The entire plain was a massive Ottoman camp, a city of tents, with the besieged Vienna looking like a tiny, battered island in a vast sea of enemies. From the city, the defenders saw the bonfires of the relief army lighting up the hills. After 2 months of darkness and despair, it was a sign of hope, a signal that they were not forgotten. Mustafa, the Ottoman commander, made a critical mistake. He was so focused on taking the city, so obsessed with the prize, that he underestimated the threat from his rear. He had failed to properly secure the hills and forests north of the city. He kept his best troops, the elite janissaries, focused on the final assault on Vienna, leaving his flanks exposed. He was caught between a rock and a hard place, the stubborn city that refused to fall, and a massive relief army descending upon him. The battle began on the morning of September 12th. It was a long, brutal, and chaotic affair. For hours, the German and Austrian infantry fought their way down the wooded slopes, pushing back the Ottoman forces in a series of bloody engagements. The fighting was fierce, a desperate struggle for every inch of ground. The Ottomans fought with incredible bravery, but they were being pushed back, slowly but surely, towards their own camp. By late afternoon, the Christian forces had cleared the foothills and were preparing for the final push across the open plain. And this is where King Jan Sobieski made his move. He saw his moment. The Ottoman army was disorganized, stretched thin, and exhausted from a full day of fighting. He gathered his cavalry, not just the Polish Hussars, but German and Austrian horsemen as well. In total, about 18,000 riders. Positioned on the high ground, Sobieski looked down at the chaos below. He reportedly said, "Veni, vidi, Deus visit. I came, I saw, God conquered." Then he gave the order to charge. What happened next is the stuff of legend. It was the largest cavalry charge in the history of warfare. 18,000 horsemen, with the 3,000 Polish winged hussars as the tip of the spear, thundered down the hillsides. The ground itself shook. The sun was deafening a roar of thousands of hooves, the clatter of steel, the terrifying hum of the hussar wings, and the unified battle cry of the soldiers. They smashed into the tired Ottoman lines like a tidal wave. The effect was immediate and catastrophic. The Ottoman soldiers, who had been fighting all day, simply broke. Panic spread through the ranks like wildfire. They had never faced anything like this. The charge cut straight through the Ottoman army, aimed directly at the heart of the camp and the command tent of Kara Mustafa himself. The Grand Vizier, seeing his army disintegrate before his eyes, fought briefly before grabbing his personal standard and fleeing for his life, leaving behind an army in full-blown rout. The victory was total and absolute. The siege of Vienna was broken. The Ottoman army, which had been the terror of Europe just that morning, was shattered. The relief army entered Vienna not as conquerors, but as liberators. The starving citizens emerged from their cellars, weeping with joy and relief. King Sobieski entered the city a hero. He paraphrased Julius Caesar in a letter to the Pope, writing, "We came, we saw, and God conquered." The aftermath was profound. The Battle of Vienna marked a major turning point. It halted the Ottoman advance into Europe for good. From this point on, the Ottoman Empire would be on the defensive, slowly being pushed back out of the Balkans over the next centuries. For Kara Mustafa, the failure was his doom. A few months later, on the orders of the Sultan, he was executed in Belgrade. For Jan Sobieski in Poland, it was a moment of incredible glory, but it was also a bittersweet victory. While he had saved Vienna and Christendom, his own kingdom would soon face decline, eventually being partitioned by its neighbors, including the very empire he had just saved. Today, the Battle of Vienna is remembered as a pivotal moment in European history. It was a story of incredible courage against overwhelming odds, a testament to the fact that even in the darkest of hours, hope can arrive in the most spectacular fashion, thundering down from the hills with feathered wings and the roar of lions. It's a powerful reminder that history is often written not by the grand plans of empires, but by the bravery of individuals on a single, decisive day. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story as epic as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history's greatest turning points. Let me know in the comments what other battles you'd like to see covered. See you next time.